Hi folks, it's time to get the backcountry skis tuned up and hot waxed for the winter season. Before I get going on this, I'll show you my homemade ski vise here. I think a ski vise is really important to do a good job on the skis. This is my homemade ski vise. It's mounted in a Black & Decker Workmate bench here. So I can take it off and throw it down to the side there to give me more room in my workroom down here. I copied this from ski vises that I saw around town and at the cross-country ski club. So I did not invent this. I just copied what I saw out there. There's a mounting plate here. It's a 2x4. There's facing on this side to hold this sliding piece. Similarly, side facing here, cut out here, and this piece slides back and forth. The clamps are on right now. I'll show you the adjustments when I put the ski in. These are two 2x6s that I cut down with a jigsaw to the shape of the ski. So 2x6 originally, just traced the angle of my ski. That's how I laid it out before I cut it by hand. Nothing fancy, just a jigsaw with a pencil line that I followed. So it's a bit rough, but that's okay. Facing on the other side here, these clamps are a little clunky. It would be better to get some kind of C-clamp in there with less metal sticking out, but this is what I had and haven't gotten around to changing them yet. There's a cutout here. Again, I did that with a jigsaw and a drill to start it. And I can just loosen the clamp and slide this piece back and forth, likewise with here. The clamping piece for the ski in the middle is a small 2x4 block cut narrower, and I forget what the dimension is there, but this is made for narrow track skis, racing skis, but also wide backcountry skis. So you just have to experiment with the width of this relative to the width of how much the width of your skis that you're going to be doing. You want this slightly narrower than the width of your ski that's under your foot for your smallest ski. There's a lot of adjustment here. On the bottom, there's a carriage bolt here and a wing nut here, so I can loosen that. And on the top here, there's a 6-inch carriage bolt with a spring in the middle that I got from the hardware store, and a wing nut over here. And I'll just widen these out because doing backcountry skis today. I'll adjust this with two hands once I put this camera back on the tripod. And just some inner tube rubber that I glued on here to really grip the side of the ski. I forgot to show this backing plate right here. So that's screwed in to this 2x6 here. So the ski is going to be secure up against that when it's clamped in the holder here. And there's a backing plate, or a side plate I guess you'd call it, just along the side. And this is lined up. Sorry, well, yeah, this side is lined up with that. So when the ski is secure in the clamp, it's lined up with this side plate here and here. Again, I did not invent this. I just copied it from the vices I saw at the cross-country ski club. Okay, The skis that we're going to hot wax and tune up here are Karhu Orion Backcountry touring skis. Dimensions are 85, 70, and 80 millimeters. So we'll get it set up in the ski vise here and adjusted. There's a gap here that allows the binding to get in there. It's resting against these side backing plates here. I've opened this up enough to allow it to rest there. And I'll adjust the front first. I want support under the tip of the ski. So we'll slide this piece out so that the curve is supported there. And then we'll tighten the clamp. And then back here, I think I'm a bit off frame a bit. But there's a recess cut down here because the bottom of the ski curves up. And so I'll just slide this to make sure that is adjusted. Okay. Don't want the ski springing around when we're putting force on it. And then finally we'll tighten the clamp here. So the bottom one goes first until it's snug. And then I'll tighten this top wing nut here. And that's solid. These are waxless skis. There's a scale pattern in the grip zone in the center, so I don't want to hot wax over those. So we'll mask off that first. Okay, I'm not a professional ski technician. I'm just an amateur, so I'm not going to, this is not an instructional video on how to hot wax a ski, so I'll just show you what I do, and I won't talk much, because I'll leave it to the pros for the expert instruction on how to do this, and I might be making mistakes, so this is just the way I do it for my skis. I've got glide wax here that I'm going to hot wax on the tip and the tail, and I'll show you how I do that. I'm using an electrical Swix waxing iron. It's all heated up and ready to go. Gonna scrape it while it's still warm. And vacuuming up the wax so it doesn't get all over the place. And we will repeat this 2 more times. And then we'll do the final brushing. So I'll edit this out and come back when I'm ready to brush it. Okay, I'll take the tape off. And there's a little ridge of wax here. I'll get rid of that. Okay. And we'll clean up the steel edges with this edge scraping tool here. I'll vacuum that and we're ready to brush. Okay, brushing. I'll start with the coarse brush and finish with the fine brush. Fine brush. Okay, I think the tip is ready to go. So this is all glide waxed for the first part of the season, but I'll touch it up throughout the season. Okay, the tip and the tail are hot waxed, but we're not done yet. We have the kick zone here on these waxless skis, and they have a fish scale pattern. So we need to treat these so that the snow does not cake up on this. So the product I use is Swix Easyglide, and it comes in liquid or paste in various bottle shapes, but this is what I have here on hand. And we'll just squeeze it out. It's kind of a dauber. And just liberally apply it to the whole wax fish scale area. I should say waxless fish scale area. Okay. Now we have to wipe that off because we don't want it gooping up the edges of the fish scales. You just want it to soak into the P-Tex base and leave all those little sharp edges sharp. And this is really critical when the snow is wet, because when it's wet it will, and if there's no Easyglide wax layer on this, the snow will stick to the P-Tex. So this is kind of a hydrophobic treatment as well. And I will carry this in my wax bag on really tough days above freezing. That snow is going to want to cake. And if you've been skiing a lot and this is worn out, you're going to want to retouch it in the bush so that you can get out on your skis instead of spending an unexpected night in the bush. The snow will cake up so bad that it'll be lumped like this high, 2, 3, 4 inches, and it just stops you. That doesn't happen usually well below freezing, but at the freezing and above it can. So this is an essential component of my wax kit that I take in the bush. I'm going to put another layer on. I have been caught out skiing home from a long day in the bush and had to walk out on my skis because of the caking problem on these fish scales. So I cannot emphasize enough that it's really important that you put this hydrophobic treatment on the scales and clean them thoroughly so that they'll grip. And I take in my wax kit a rag so that I don't have to goop up my bandana, which I will always have in my kit as well. Just my daily travel kit in the bush. I always have my bandana, but I don't want to goop that up with this stuff. Now I ski on waxable skis too. I have several pairs of different widths of backcountry ski, fully waxable. So maybe I'll show waxing those another time. They're a little different than these. Okay, I think we're good to go.